Then I hit upon I hadn't had my patriarchal blessing yet. Grandpa Christensen was a stake patriarch, not in our stake, but we'd gotten special dispensation for him to give us our patriarchal blessings. So I was in college and I hadn't yet got mine. So I said, I know what I'll do. It's bound to say in my patriarchal blessing whether or not I went on a mission. And so that's what I'll do. And I was dating a girl or two or three or 10 at college and having a fun time. And most of the girls said, I only want to date people that are returned missionaries. Even then it was a stigma. I'm not sure that's a very good thing, but that's how the facts of life were. And so, and I thought, I had heard people that went to France and Denmark and stuff, and they proselyted for 2.5 years, and they had one baptism. You know, Mom had 10 kids, so if I got married to the right girl, I could have 6 or 8 kids. That'd bring that many people into the church. You know, that was one way I tried to talk my way through it. So finally, the time came for me to go get my patriarchal blessing. It was about a week before, and I said, well, before I go, I've always heard that you have to fast and pray, and I fasted and prayed, but I don't think I went without eating and went through the prayer type of thing. But that week I didn't fast the whole week. I just fasted a few meals and prayed and kept asking the question. I got no answer. So I figured, well, that's good. I got no answer. I can go ahead and do what I want to do. And we got a ride down from Provo we were living in Boulder City at the time. No, we lived in Logandale at the time. Living in Logandale. We got a ride down to Logandale. And I was in the back seat with a girl, one of the girls I was dating was riding with me. And it was kind of nice sitting in the back seat with a pretty girl and have my arm around her stuff. And then she went to sleep. And it gave me time to think about it. And I'll never forget. I got an answer to my prayer. In the back seat of a car with my arm around a girl, a voice came into my mind and said, Clark, you know what you should do. That was it. And that was surprising. And I knew what I had to do. There's nothing else I could do. I had to decide to go on a mission. And, you know, that was before I realized that Heavenly Father knows us all. And He said my name. Anyway, I got straightened around and ready to go on a mission and stuff, and it was very, very plain to me. And my brother, Ken, was on a mission, and I thought it would be 4 years when I went to see him, but he came back early, and it kind of upset the whole family they were concerned about it. And Mom, who'd wanted me to go on a mission forever, took me aside and said, you don't have to go on a mission. You'll be fine. I'll be okay with it. You don't have to go if you don't want to. I said, I don't have a choice. I'm going. And I didn't. And it changed my life.